Get off my land before I have you arrested. That was the first thing I ever heard from Celeste Harlow, and let me tell you, her screech could strip the bark off a pine. Picture me, standing there with a surveyor's map in one hand, still half dazed from the smell of dew on wild grass, just soaking in that March sun on my brand new plot. When here comes this woman in a cream blazer, heels sinking in the dirt like she's trying to plant a flag for the queen of HOA land. Clipboard clenched tight, face set like she'd practiced it in the mirror. Behind her, a couple of HOA minions hustling to keep up. I'd owned this land for 3 days. 3. Already, someone wanted me gone. I almost laughed. Whatever authority she thought she had ended right at that old, crooked fence. The rest was mine. I just watched her storm up, let her set the tone. This was going to be interesting, believe me. Where are you folks watching from, by the way? Drop a comment. I love knowing who's following along. That morning, the whole field glowed gold, shadows long and cool, a little mist hanging low. Freedom, that's what it was. Years of cubicles, dead air, and clicky keyboards behind me. And now, Desmond Pierce, organic farmer. Had a nice ring, didn't it? Until Celeste showed up. She stopped on her side of the fence, like there was a force field. Up close, I caught the whiff of expensive perfume, overpowering, honestly. Her hair looked like a helmet. With her were Greg, big and bored, and Linda, thin and kind-eyed, giving me little sorry looks like she was trapped at the wrong table at a wedding. Celeste's tone changed fast, from screech to CEO cold. This land directly impacts the aesthetic value of our community, she said, waving toward the HOA houses. I tucked my map in my pocket and managed a smile. Nice to meet you. I just bought this place. Any construction here requires HOA approval, she said, tapping her clipboard for emphasis. We have standards. Greg shifted his weight, earning a death glare from her. I pulled up my phone, flashed the county map. See? The fence is the dividing line. My land's independent, not part of your HOA. Celeste didn't even look. That's irrelevant, she snapped. What you do here affects Riverside Gardens. We have every right to ensure compliance. Linda tried to interject. Celeste, maybe we should, but Celeste cut her off with just one word. Linda, my patience was already running thin. Look, I appreciate your concern, but this is my land. I plan to build an organic farm, clean and legal. Not your business. Celeste leaned in, voice dropping to a hiss. You have no idea what you're dealing with. This community has standards, Mr. Pierce. That eyesore won't be tolerated. She nodded at my little cabin. Greg took out his phone, snapped a photo, deliberate, threatening. It wasn't about neighborhood pride. This was territorial. Like I was a threat to her little kingdom. Anything else? I asked, cool as I could manage. She straightened her blazer, promised I'd be hearing from us, then turned on her heel. Greg followed. Linda hesitated, wanted to say something, but hurried after. I watched them disappear. That's when I started recording everything. My gut said something wasn't right. Inside my cabin, I laid out the surveyor's map, double-checked the county records. I was right. She had no legal authority. But legal doesn't always mean power, especially with people like her. I uploaded my evidence, set up security cameras. That's when I caught a shadow watching from the HOA side, someone lingering, then vanishing into the hedges. I snapped a picture. I just had a feeling this was the opening act. For 3 days, nothing happened. I worked the land, tested the soil, started thinking maybe Celeste was all bark. Then I found the first letter, taped to my gate, white envelope with the HOA's gold logo. Inside, notice of violation. Supposedly, I was in trouble for unauthorized structures, failing to submit plans, non-compliance with beautification requirements. Signed in looping script with an official-looking seal. Remedy within 7 days or face escalating penalties. I logged it. Day 6, a new letter. This time, final notice, monetary penalties applied. They were making up fines, $500 a day. Claimed they could put a lien on my property, seize assets. All rights under California Civil Code, it said. I sat there and just laughed, not because it was funny, but because it was so over the top. She was inventing authority out of thin air. So, I called my old friend Preston, a lawyer I trusted. Explain the mess. He was calm, not surprised. They have zero legal standing, he said. But people like this escalate. Document everything. Build your case now. He was right. I upped my security, cameras everywhere, cloud backups, every receipt and letter filed. That's when the next wave hit. I overheard an HOA meeting, Celeste rallying the community, painting me as a threat. She showed Greg's photo of my cabin, called it Phase 1 of some industrial nightmare. Claimed I was planning to subdivide, open a trailer park. Lies plain and simple. But the neighbors nodded along, ready to sign petitions, ready to block my permits. I recorded the whole thing. Afterward, I got a call from a block number, a woman whispering, "Be careful." Celeste doesn't just threaten, she follows through. I saved that message, too. The next morning, my gate hung open, padlock on. Tire tracks cut through the grass. Scratches on my cabin door. My cameras had caught it all. An SUV rolling in at 2 a.m. Celeste herself, now in dark clothes and a baseball cap, directing Greg as he tried to break in. They circled the place, tested windows, tried the locks. When they left, I called the police, got an officer named Callahan. Professional, no nonsense. He took photos, watched my footage, and told me I had every right to press charges. Upgrade your security. People like this don't stop, he warned. The same day, Celeste came back, but this time with a lawyer, smug and ready to settle. They offered to buy me out. I showed them my legal paperwork and told them flat out I wasn't leaving, and if they stepped foot on my land again, I'd press charges. They left furious. That night, the power went out, cut deliberately. The water, too. Cameras spray-painted. But they missed my newest hidden ones. I caught them in the act, got the license plate. I called in everything, utility company, police, started compiling the case. She'd crossed into outright crime now. My lawyer said we had enough for criminal prosecution and civil damages. A couple days later, police showed up, except their uniforms were off, badges wrong, shoes all wrong. They tried to evict me with a fake court order. I called 911 from inside my cabin. Real officers arrived, busted the imposters, found out they'd been paid by Celeste. I had everything on video, including her directing the whole thing from the fence line. She was arrested on the spot. Conspiracy, impersonation, trespassing, vandalism, fraud, stalking, the whole lot. Greg and the others, too. Turns out, Celeste had pulled the same thing before. Harassed other owners, forced them to sell cheap, bought their land through shell companies. This time, though, I had every second on camera, every threat recorded, every fake document filed. The DA moved fast. She faced real time, prison, fines, restitution. In court, even her lawyer gave up the act. She took a plea deal, admitted guilt to 5 felonies, got 2 years in state prison, a hefty restitution bill, and a permanent ban from holding any HOA position. The news got out. Her husband divorced her. The HOA threw her out. Iris, the one who warned me, became the new president and started reforming the whole operation. You want to know what justice looks like? It isn't a parade. It's a slow, methodical slog. Evidence, hearings, statements, more paperwork than you can imagine. But it comes. Her cronies got sentences, lost jobs, had to face up to what they'd done. Some neighbors tried to apologize, offered bread, letters, awkward handshakes. Others just kept their distance, still convinced I was the problem. Fine by me. The new HOA leadership was different. Iris set up oversight, transparency, formal complaint processes. She even asked me to consult, to make sure they never crossed the line again. I agreed once. After that, I kept my boundaries. The criminal case closed, the civil suit settled, the judgment paid. For the first time, I felt peace. I built a real wall, 10 feet high, white concrete, climbing vines, wildflowers at the base, something beautiful, not just a barrier. That wall said, "This is mine. That is yours." The difference mattered. I moved on to the farm, greenhouse, barn, fields. The land thrived. The neighbors waved sometimes. The camera stayed up, but I barely checked them. Celeste sent a letter from prison, a careful apology with no request for forgiveness. I filed it and moved on. One night, standing out there, Watching the sun set behind the wall, I realized the whole ordeal wasn't just about keeping people out. It was about making boundaries real, about saying, this is who I am, and this is what I stand for. Sometimes, the only way to teach people respect is to draw the line so clearly that no one can pretend not to see it. The wall glowed in the dusk, vines reaching upward, peace at last settling on my land. So let me ask you, where do you draw your lines? When is it right to fight, and when is it better to let things slide? Drop your thoughts below. I want to hear your stories, your wins, your battles, your take on justice. If you made it this far, thanks for sticking with me. Share this story with someone who needs to see what real boundaries look like, and maybe, just maybe, how a plot twist can turn the whole world upside down.